Good evening. All right. Hello here in the room, and we have a full house here in London. And hello to everybody watching online. Why don't we all turn around and wave to those who are watching online? Like in the cameras. Hey there. We love you too. Even you're not here, you know, you're with us. So I'm super excited to be here today to talk to you about what we did at Adobe Max 2018 just a few weeks ago, and also talk about some of the innovations we are bringing to the creative market, and also show you some stuff, of course, like some of the new features in our applications. But before I begin, let me talk a little bit about what Max is. Max is the largest creativity conference in the whole world. And that's where the community comes together to learn, share ideas, and get inspired. And this year was our biggest Adobe Max ever. We had over 14,000 people from over 60 countries from around the world. So it was really, really massive. And yeah, more than 100,000 people actually viewed the Max keynotes and the sneaks and all of these things online while we were doing it at Adobe Max. And Max is also, and that's my last point here, it's also a great opportunity to learn. We have over, in Max 2018, we had over 300 sessions and labs and workshops for attendees to really learn how to stay ahead of the game. And this is really what Max is all about, so that everybody who comes to Max, who enjoys Max, learns from Max, actually is ready for a new year of creativity with the new tools and knows exactly how they work. So mark your calendars, because Adobe Max will be back again in Los Angeles early November 2019. So if you want to go, mark your calendars. It's a great, great conference. How many of you were at Adobe Max in the room? I know some of you were. There you go. 1, 2, 3. OK. Oh, in the back. Oh, they're all hiding there in the back. Well, how's Max? Did you like it? OK. All right. So let's begin now. And what I wanted to do first is to state our vision for Creative Cloud once more. And that vision is really to enable creativity for all, to really enable everybody with an idea to be able to express that. And the market trends are making creativity more accessible every day, making it possible really for everyone who has a story to tell to do so, and to do so maybe more importantly, with impact. Okay, so everybody has the opportunity today to tell their story with impact. And with that in mind, today I will talk about 3 main things. And the first one being the current creativity trends that we're seeing at Adobe and that we're observing. Then go over the main themes of Adobe Max 2018, and also go over what's been announced at Max 2018. So at the end of this presentation, we'll all be on the same page. We know what Max is, and we know what Creative Cloud is and what it can do for your creativity. So what are these trends that we're talking about? Mobile devices are more and more part of our daily life, and they're more powerful than ever before, making them not just for consumption, but more and more also a creation device. Okay? Be that on your phone, on your tablet, on the devices you carry around with you. And people really now expect to have the ability to create, access, and share their content wherever they are and whenever they want to. Okay? This is really important in our vision. So the creative process is also becoming more and more collaborative. Creatives are working together, illustrators with designers, with marketeers, with developers, with other stakeholders in the creative pipeline. People expect to be able to work together to share their stuff easily. And also, there's new mediums that are highly interesting, such as, for example, augmented reality, virtual reality, and voice interactions, which are coming on our devices, and which make our devices a completely new medium that we have to leverage and somehow enable everybody here in the creative community to be able to do stuff for. And the final trend is one that people usually say, oh, artificial intelligence, it's scary. But really, it is not. Because artificial intelligence and machine learning, that's really one of those mega trends we hear over and over in the media. But we also found out that artificial intelligence can have a uniquely positive impact on creative work. So we recently commissioned Andreas Pfeiffer and the Pfeiffer Report to do a qualitative research study for us. And he interviewed over 100 creative professionals from the UK and from Germany and from the US. And so it really enabled us to understand what creatives were expecting from artificial intelligence and what they were concerned or not concerned about. So one thing that I find extremely interesting is that 74% of creative professionals told us that they spend 50% of their time actually doing repetitive tasks. This is perfect fodder for artificial intelligence. This is what artificial intelligence should be for, to help us do these repetitive things much, much faster. And enable us creatives to be able to do what we're valued for, what we're good at, and that's our creative thinking. So artificial intelligence will become more and more important to make the life of creative professionals much, much easier, taking away the menial tasks, the repetitive tasks. And I'm going to be showing some of these today in my presentation. So, against that backdrop, let us now take a step back and look at how this release of Creative Cloud, the 2019 release of Creative Cloud, actually addresses this ever-evolving need of creators. So there are three main themes that we brought to Adobe Max 2018. And they revolve around, first, letting you work faster. That's always optimizing your workflows, letting you do things faster, to have that time for your creative thoughts and your creative process. The second one is unleashing creativity, making it possible not only to work on your laptops or on your desktop computers, but really to create tools that work on your mobile devices and really unleash the creativity and let you be creative wherever you are and whenever you want to. And also giving you the ability to create anything across any medium. That's our third theme for Max this year. So the first theme revolves around accelerating your work. And we're doing that with a whole bunch of productivity enhancements across the board in all of the Creative Cloud apps. We also have better and more cross-application integration, meaning that applications work better together. And I'm going to be mentioning some of those in a few minutes. And also, one thing that is fundamental is a quicker access to assets and services. Okay? We want to be able to find our assets, to find assets we don't have, or access services from whatever device, wherever we are, and whenever we want to. So we're also introducing many Sensei-powered features. And Sensei is this artificial intelligence that I was talking about. Basically, a whole bunch of algorithms that make your life easier. I'll be coming over Sensei in a second. The second point is a successful onboarding experience. This is something that we've put a lot of work in. You've started to see the beginnings of it in the start screen in most of the applications, where we are really evolving now in this new version to a very personalized and accessible home screen, so that it includes tutorials to get started that are accessible right from within the app or the home screens, inspirational content, and your latest creations right there at your fingertips so you can open them very quickly. So the home screen really grows with the users as they become more experienced and get to know our tools better, and it evolves like that. And just to get my point across here, I would like you to remember the first time you opened Photoshop or Premiere or After Effects. It's a daunting experience. You have to do a lot of reading. You have to do a lot of understanding. What are all these buttons? No. I'm going to go back to drawing or something like that, okay? So many give up. And this is something that we want to address. And this is why we spend so much time on the home screen, on the onboarding experience, to make our users successful much faster. Okay? This is really the key here. And third, we are taking the connection between learning and inspiration one step further. So a year ago, we started broadcasting what we call Adobe Lives, and we do that on Behance now. So Behance not only becomes a hub for finding creative work, but it also becomes a hub for learning, sharing your process, and looking at professionals over the shoulder and trying to figure out how they work. And what's really cool with Adobe Live is that many of us realize, oh, but the creative professionals also make mistakes. They're human too. Maybe I can make it, okay? So Adobe Live is becoming increasingly important. So it's a great resource to learn and evolve. So there are many updates, of course, in all of our flagship products. I'm just going to go over a few with you tonight. And I'm going to start with photography. So for example, to make your life easier in Lightroom, for example, we've added the possibility to migrate Apple photo libraries much faster to your Lightroom CC. Or we've improved the tethering process, the ability to see a live feed of your camera inside of Lightroom while you're taking pictures. So making life easier in the photography side. Within the design apps, of course, there's a plethora of new features. And Photoshop, we've added a whole bunch of just do it features. We call them JDIs. And these include making undo, Command Z. Okay, now you can do Command Z, 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 and go back in time, okay? Without having to know that special shortcut to go back in history, okay? Like Photoshop was always supposed to be, right? Who invented going back in history? You know, why couldn't I not do Command Z from the very beginning? Or adding type and auto resizing, which is much more intuitive, all right? And always remember, the changes we're making are also for people who are starting with the app. Okay? We may know all of the shortcuts and things like that, and we can maybe quickly do them. But like somebody new to the application, like the resizing without holding Shift and it stays in proportion makes a whole bunch of sense. InDesign also has a new contextually aware properties panel, very much like Illustrator, which activates only the properties that are relevant to the tool I'm using or the object I have selected on the artboard. Super useful. In Illustrator, you can now customize the toolbar. There's many tools that you'll never ever use in Illustrator. Why should it clutter your toolbar? You can now remove things, you can move things around, and make the toolbar work for you. In Adobe Dimension, which is our application for letting designers use 3D objects in a 2D environment and casting shadows and things like that. If you haven't, check it out. It's super cool. We've actually have a much better rendering engine now, and so the renderings that come out of Dimension come much faster. And Adobe Bridge. Yes, you've heard me right. Adobe Bridge. Adobe Bridge is rising from the ashes. Who's using Adobe Bridge here? Okay, very few. Okay, you're going to be many more now, because Bridge is really the hub for all of your creative work. And we've made it so that it has a new UI, like much more modern, and it supports bulk uploads of CC libraries, something that is otherwise tedious because you have to do it on the web or move things. Now you can use Bridge to actually pilot your CC libraries and assets and things like that. So super cool. Adobe Bridge. I would have never thought I'd say that in 2018, but yes, Bridge is back. And Creative Cloud members also have access through Creative Cloud, of course, to a brand new Acrobat. And Acrobat DC provides a completely reimagined way to share the work, to create review cycles with your customers, and approvals that people can approve documents. So it makes it very easy for creative professionals to communicate with their customers without sending big email attachments, okay, which always infuriate me. Okay, what? 25 megabyte? Really? What for? Okay. For video, we have a brand new workflow for animation between After Effects and Animate and Character Animator to do that sort of animation much, much faster. And In Premiere Pro and After Effects, we have new audio cleanup tools. And that's super cool because instead of having to clean up the audio now in Audition, like to jump to Audition, I can now use Premiere or After Effects to remove noise or reverb and things like that right inside of the application, saving you time. So today, there's more than 100 powered capabilities in products in our products or in the pipeline coming for future products across the Creative Cloud, the Document Cloud, which includes Acrobat, and the Experience Cloud. So Adobe has 3 clouds. Many of you know the Creative Cloud, but there's also other clouds. And this slide actually summarizes the current Sensei features across Creative Cloud. At Max, we've introduced over a dozen new Sensei-powered features. And remember, Sensei is our artificial intelligence. It's our smart algorithms. So for example, I'll be showing you in Photoshop in a second a brand new content-aware fill workspace in Photoshop that makes it much easier to fill spaces with content-aware content with much more precision, and it will save editors a whole bunch of time using these new features. And also a new content-aware fit feature in InDesign. I'll be showing that too because that's kind of interesting because when I'll be showing you. Basically, the algorithm understands what's the interesting part of the image is and centers that image inside of the image frame inside of InDesign. Artificial intelligence, making your life easier, okay? Nothing else. Then, in Illustrator, we're also adding ability to create natural gradients with a new gradient tool, which is called Freeform Gradients. And also, we introduced a new tool in Character Animator called Characterizer. And with Characterizer, you can actually animate portraits with you talking, and so that it kind of takes the portrait and makes a moving portrait out of it while you're talking to your camera. So a whole new workflow for animating this kind of thing. So let's shift gears now and talk a little bit about Adobe Xd. Remember that Adobe Xd is our all-in-one user interface and user experience tool for designing, prototyping, and sharing. Okay? And we are 100% focused with that application on quality and performance. And I'll be showing, actually, not me, Stephanie over there will be showing some of the new features in Adobe Xd. And since we've launched Adobe Max a couple of years ago, we've added over 60 features to Adobe Xd. It's really one of our fastest growing applications because we are actually involving the community in deciding what is important for UI and experience design. Okay, so we have a thing called user voice. We have that for InDesign and Illustrator as well, where users can actually upvote features, making it very transparent for both the users and for us at Adobe to understand what has to be done and what needs to be added inside of the application. So probably the most interesting features in this new version of Xd are the ability to prototype voice applications, to create automatic animations inside of Adobe Xd without having to necessarily go to After Effects and do videos, and very tight integration with Illustrator and After Effects. Illustrator for getting Illustrator files into Xd, and After Effects, of course, for taking Xd animations and bring them one step further, adding your knowledge that you may have or may not have in After Effects. So, Adobe Xd, we'll be looking at that in a second as well. So the next theme is around liberating your creativity. And we're investing a lot in making collaboration and the full power of Creative Cloud available anywhere you want to work. Okay, this is what we call unleashing creativity, liberating the creativity. So last year, we introduced Lightroom CC, liberating you from your desktop computer or your laptop, being able to work on your phone or your tablet, on your Lightroom library, and edit pictures and do everything you need to do in Lightroom. And today, I'm also excited to show you what we have planned for video content creation, creative imaging, and also drawing. So I'm super thrilled to talk to you a little bit about Adobe Rush, which was called Project Rush. We previewed that earlier this year. And Project Rush shipped as a 1.0 version at Adobe Max 2018 and is now called Premiere Rush CC. So it's an integral part of the Premiere family, of our video tools. What is Rush? Rush is really an all-in-one cross-device video capture, editing, and publishing app. Okay? And you can do that from your phone, from your desktop, from your tablet. And it's really geared towards content video creators, that create content multiple times a week, that need to be fast at uploading it, that need to be freed, unleashing creativity. So with Rush, we also made sure that the onboarding experience is super simple, so you don't have to be a video expert or a color expert or an audio expert to do great videos. I'm going to be showing you Rush in a second. Because Rush really offers you an intuitive interface, drag and drop and things, and cut and put audio and export. It also has what we call autoduck, so the ability to understand when there's voice and to turn down the music automatically. So that makes it easier when you have like interview-style content. Color correction, just like in Premiere Pro. And it also comes with a whole bunch of motion graphics templates with lower thirds and titles and things like that that you can easily add. And you can also make different versions, optimized for various platforms. Square format for Instagram, or vertical format for Instagram stories, or whatever. Okay, there's buttons for that, and you can export it to the social platforms that you prefer. Plus, from the desktop, it's then super easy to take your Rush project to Premiere and continue working there. Okay, because Rush exists on the desktop as well. But if I want to take it a step further and like do corrections that I may not be able to do in Rush right now, I can do that in Premiere. So now let's talk a little bit about creative imaging. And our vision is that users will be able to work with Photoshop anywhere and on any device. So at Max 2018, we actually showed a working prototype of Photoshop on the iPad. And basically what we've shown there, and I'm going to show you a very short video of that in a second, just so that you get the idea of what's happening here. It's not a watered-down version of Photoshop. It's a Photoshop that understands PSD files. It understands layers. It understands advanced editing and compositing techniques. And really, it has everything that our customers expect from Photoshop, except it's on a tablet. And because the files that are generated by Photoshop on the iPad are real PSDs, of course, you can then work on them in Photoshop on your desktop, and that both on a Mac or a PC. So let me just show you on the iPad. I just made a quick video from what was shown at Max, and as you can see, the whole layer structure is there. There's hue and saturations, the layer properties. Really nothing is missing there, and there's literally hundreds of different layers. And what I want you to notice here is how responsive this version of Photoshop is, even panning and zooming inside of the document right down to the pixel level, okay? And that's on an iPad. And that's another example. That's a PSD, yeah, that's in Photoshop CC. And we're going to take that file and open that file in Photoshop on the iPad with all the layers intact. And we can then continue to work on our mobile device, really freeing your creativity using all of the tools that we love and find useful in Photoshop, like the brushes. All of Kyle's brushes are now in CC. You know that, right? They've been there for a year, okay? All of Kyle's brushes are there. This is another good example of where I can use the blending modes inside of a more complex image, make corrections to the light in the image, and then last but not least, I'll also be adding here a gradient across the image. Oh no, I'm still retouching there. making some of the areas of the forest a little bit lighter. And there we go. Now we have, let's create a little gradient across the image. And going through the blending modes, I can very quickly and easily apply the right color tones to that image. So as you can see, it is truly a Photoshop on your mobile device, not a watered-down version. And this is coming in 2019. The other app that I wanted to talk about, and I'm going to be showing you that live in a second, is Project Gemini. Basically, Project Gemini takes Photoshop Sketch and Illustrator Draw, which are two separate apps right now, one for pixels, one for vectors, and takes them together. And basically, what we're doing here is really to create an application where there's only one drawing application. And you can draw vectors, you can draw rasters, you can do all sorts of things that previously you had to do in two different applications. And then, of course, from Gemini, you can then jump easily to Photoshop or Illustrator to continue with the work. Additionally, of course, you can use all of Kyle's brushes, all of the brushes that you enjoy in Photoshop inside of Gemini. But we're also introducing a whole brand new breed of brushes, and we call them dynamic brushes. And we're starting in Project Gemini with watercolor brushes that behave just like watercolor brushes, as you will see in a second, and also oil painting. The painting really mixes like it was oil. So really, Project Gemini is designed to emulate natural media in a more realistic way than ever before. Lastly, and that's our third Max theme, is creating anything. So as I've said, augmented reality and virtual reality have a tremendous potential to disrupt the way people actually experience the world around them. And we at Adobe are super committed to empowering you, the creators, to succeed across all of these new mediums. And for that, we're launching a new project called Project Aero. And what we've seen is that augmented reality, creators for augmented reality are really underserved today because tools require coding, the output is rudimentary, it's kind of difficult. So Project Aero is a new AR authoring tool, which is built for designers by the company that I believe understands designers. Okay, so we know how you want to work with augmented reality, and we're giving you a way to do that. This, of course, was also presented at the last Apple event, and we're actually working very closely with Apple and Pixar to push a standard format for augmented reality, which is the USDZ file format. So we're really helping designers and developers alike to actually being able to focus on this standardized format for augmented reality experiences. And just to give you a quick look, I have a video here again from Max, just to show you. This is a drawing by Dan Mumford from London. He's an incredible illustrator. He couldn't be here tonight, unfortunately. But anyway, this was on Photoshop on the iPad. It's layer-based, and Zorana just laid it on a table on that flat surface. And then there's a whole bunch of things that we can do. For example, saying, OK, I want the depth. I want these layers to separate. And now I can take these Photoshop layers and walk around them and really experience the image as if they were layers. I can move inside of the image. This is what augmented reality is all about, to enhance, to augment the reality in our world. This is another example, starting in Adobe Dimension, which is our 3D, 2D app. And here Zorana is simply changing the color of the shoe, for example, and then taking that shoe and putting it in on this pedestal in a store, for example. Of course, then we can decide what to do with that shoe. We can decide, for example, that I want to swipe through various versions of that, cycle through variations of the shoe. So I can get closer and look at the various models without having to actually get them out of the box and look at them or move around in on a shelf. And also, interestingly, is the possibility to actually trigger actions based on things like proximity. Okay, so now Zorana is moving closer to the object, and you will see that the object then triggers an animation of the shoe exploding, and then I can get more information about the product itself. So that is Project Aero, and I'm super curious to see what you guys will create with that. And that's also coming in 2019. In addition to offering the tools that you need to work in your creative business, of course, there's a whole bunch of services that we're working on. And there's two big announcements here, really. One is about Typekit, which is now becoming Adobe Fonts. Okay? So no more Typekit, it's called Adobe Fonts. Just like it's part of the family. And all Creative Cloud subscriptions now include the entire font library. And there's no more sync limit. There's no more limit on the page views. And for Adobe Stock, we introduced a whole new way of looking for images, Sensei-based. We can look for images based on their color, or we can look for images that have a free space where I want to put text, for example. So a whole bunch of things that will make your life easier and enable your creativity. So of course, all of these innovations are available today. They've been available since Max for individuals, small businesses, our education customers, students and teachers alike, and of course, larger enterprises. But let's move on to my iPad for a second. And I'm gonna go here for, can we move over to the iPad? There we go. Let me just close here for a second and move to the iPad. And I can make it. There we go. Now, on the iPad, there's two things that I wanted to show you, really. One is Project Rush, which is available now. And basically, making a video is as easy as going to Home. I'm going to say plus, create a new project. Create a new project. Oh, add media. There we go. And I'm going to take media from, let me see, from my sample media. Okay? And it's as simple as clicking on the videos and saying, OK, these 3 videos. And I'm going to create my video. Rush is importing these 3 files. And now I can start working on them. But like I said, I mentioned auto-duck before. Like when there's a voice, I actually want the music to go down. So let's add some music to here. So I'm going to add some media. Let me put some audio in there. And there's also some Rush soundtracks. And I'm going to take the first one here, and I'm going to add it right there from that point here. And if I press play now, we should be hearing the music. God, I love the you see, he's speaking, but the music was too loud. So what I can do, let me just stop this here, go back here. And what I'm going to say is here, inside of the audio panel here, under Advanced, I'm going to say Auto-Duck. And you will see that automatically, whenever there's voice here, the volume will go down here. OK? Let's do that again. Yeah. Oh, God, I love the Philippines. Oh, it didn't select it. Ah. OK, you catch my drift. And then, of course, there's a whole bunch of things that I can do with filters. I can make it the video more cinematic, for example. Oh, it's downloading the presets here. Put in transitions between the various videos. And like I said, I can also choose to make it a portrait mode or a square video. And very easily, I can go in here and really decide where the video goes and how to export that. And then once I'm ready to share, I go to Share here, and I can export for various quality settings. I can choose from various frame rates and presets, and then it'll give me an estimated file size, and I can export that for Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, etc. So Adobe Rush is really a very simple entry into the video world, being able to cut your videos, put transitions in, put titles, put colors, and work with audio. The other app that I wanted to show you is Project Gemini. And Project Gemini, I'm going to create a new document. I'm going to say, let's make iPad landscape here. So basically what we see here now is that we have the layer structure over here. And I have all of the brushes that I expect from Photoshop. These are my pixel brushes. So if I start painting here, and there's a little nifty little button right here, which allows me to turn my pencil into an eraser and use that right away, okay, and paint like that. So these are pixels. And in the Layers panel, it actually shows me these are pixels. So if I go now to another type of brush, which is the vector brushes, and start drawing in vectors, okay, automatically I have a new layer for my vector brushes. Okay? So basically, these two things now live together. Let me erase all of that. Let's make a big eraser here and get rid of all of that. Oh, I need to everything here. Okay. Because the two other brushes that I wanted to show you are these live brushes, and I can also take this out, for example, watercolor. And let's choose another color. Let's go here and take that, for example. And as I paint, you see that it really behaves like watercolor. And let's take a darker color here and start painting inside of here. The colors actually mix. Is that pretty cool or what? So these are the new dynamic brushes for watercolor, for example. Or let me just erase that and go here, okay, and go here and take my other brushes. Oh, my other brushes, which are the oil brushes. And let's start with the red. And really, like, I really get this feeling of oil, okay? And if I take a lighter color now and start mixing here, you know, I can really like start mixing the colors like real oil painting, okay? So it's a brand new way of drawing, and this also is coming in 2019. So very exciting stuff on mobile devices. But now I would like to call up here on stage Stephanie Meyer, which is our new XD evangelist here in the UK. Stephanie, yes, hello Stephanie, who is, it's her first presentation today, and she's going to be showing us her 3 favorite features in Adobe XD that were presented at Max. Stephanie, it's all yours.
Rufus. Hi guys, I'm Stephanie. Nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm really happy to show you the 3 new amazing features in Adobe XD, which were presented at Adobe Max. So here, as you can see, I have a conceptual design of a music app. XD is great. You can zoom in and out, and it, you know, it constrains the proportion, it constrains the layers, the resolution, and you know, we all love listening to music app, don't we? But now we have the time where the app actually listens to us.
Just gonna put the music here.
Yeah, we need sound for music app. Thanks. So, here we are in prototype mode, and on that specific screen, we can now, instead of just tap, we can now choose voice as a trigger to connect artboards to each other. We can choose a command, and we can choose a speech playback as an action for this trigger. So let me show you how this works. If I press the play button, and I say, show Soulful.
Which song do you want to play?
Play Blue Skies. And that's voice command. So it has an integrated Alexa in there, and you can now create prototypes with voice commands in Adobe XD. And on this screen, we see already our next new great feature, which is Auto Animate. So it looks like the sound waves took an age to create, right? But actually, you can create that with, thanks to Auto Animate in seconds in Adobe XD. So let me show you how. We have here 3 identical screens, and the only difference are the sound waves. You can now simply just connect the screens and choose Auto Animate as a trigger. And it's going to move and animate your sound waves smoothly. That is what comes out of it. So now the last feature, but not least, is imagine your client asks you to recreate your whole design as a tablet app. It will take you an age, right? But now we have the amazing feature, you just copy and paste your artboard. You unlock it, and we have here responsive resize. So you simply tick the responsive resize and drag out the artboard to your tablet size. And it constrains the proportions, it doesn't mess up your icons, and you can just work with it. You can obviously get rid of the tab bar to put the iPad tab bar in it to have it right, but yeah, it creates it for you, and you have no messed up design. So yeah, I hope you like the new features, and I can't wait to see what you're going to create with it. So thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well done. Great stuff. And Stephanie will be in the XD corner down there if you want to meet her and say hi and give her words of encouragement. Welcome to Adobe, Stephanie. Now, let's move faster here. Let me go to InDesign to start with. Yeah, let's go here. And what I wanted to show you in InDesign was this thing about the intelligent reframing of pictures. So I'm just making this frame bigger, and we know that we can auto-fit images inside of InDesign. So the normal auto-fit would be this one here, and it fits the image like this, right? But there's a whole part of the image missing. So let me show you the new feature, which is called Content-Aware Fit. Okay? And you can also add that to your image frame properties, of course. And look at the difference. Adobe Sensei understands what the image is about and what to frame. Okay? I'm not saying it's always perfect, but what I'm saying is that it just saves me a couple of seconds. And if I manage hundreds of images, these couple of seconds become minutes and hours and, and so on. So I think this is a super interesting feature that is already in Adobe InDesign. Let me see if I can find a title here somewhere. Let me move here, because one thing that I mentioned to you about Adobe Type is the ability now to actually, and this is crazy. Let me just select this text here, for example, and go here into my font menu. Oh, no, that's not the font menu. Where's my font menu? Here, right here. Oh, now it's hidden, of course. Let me just put it over here. Let me go into my font menu, and I can, of course, cycle through the various fonts here. But what is super interesting, I can choose Find More. And Find More actually shows me all of the Adobe fonts. Okay? Even if I don't have them downloaded on my desktop. Okay? So I can go here and actually preview that text with all of the fonts of Adobe Font. And when I'm ready to use it, I say, okay, wow, I like this one. Let's download it. Let's activate that font. And remember, since Max, Adobe Font has no more limitation. It used to be you can't download more than 100 fonts. This limit does not exist anymore. So if your heart so wishes, you could potentially download the whole Adobe Font library if you wanted to, but then why would you? And another thing is in InDesign that we've added, and let me just move over here to PDF for a second. This is a typical PDF with annotations, right? Let me just fit it in the screen. Annotations, and this is how our customers are actually sending us back PDFs with their notes. Okay, is the date accurate? Is this the right font, or is this the final font? And stuff like that. So now in InDesign, what you can do, and I'm going to go here under where is it? PDF comments. I can import those PDF comments into my InDesign document without having to open Acrobat. Okay, so I see all of those comments in my InDesign document. I can make the corrections. I can say, okay, I'm going to say okay to this. I'm going to trash this one, and so on, and go through the revision process much, much easier. All right. Let me just jump over to Photoshop because my time is running out. and make that bigger here. I was talking about, this new Sensei powered autofill. So for example, what I want to do here, and I'm going to just select my very rudimentary lasso tool here, and I'm going to say, okay, I want this to be filled in. All right, so it would be Shift, Delete, and I would say content aware, okay, and I would probably get something like this. Okay, it's almost perfect. It's Adobe Sensei, but it's not perfect. All right, so I'm going to Command Z out of that, and under Edit, I now have the Content Aware Fill window, where I can do a whole bunch of other stuff. So I can say, okay, I don't want any information from this area here, okay? So I can paint over it. I can use my shortcuts to make the brush bigger and say, okay, I don't want any of the stones here. Let's remove that. What I'm interested in, though, is the butterfly over here, so I'm going to add that. Okay? And you can already see that as I'm doing this, things are changing over here. But what's super interesting is that not only does it intelligently now find the content for that, but I can also say, for example, where is it? Scale or mirror. And I want it from the other side of the wing, okay? The other wing. So I say mirror. Mirror the content from over there. And as I select mirror, you can see the preview here, and it perfectly takes this other part of the image and fills it inside of Photoshop. So this is Sensei. This is artificial intelligence. These are algorithms that are working for you, that are making your life easier. Another feature that I really love is, let me just move out of this and say cancel. Let me move here on to this image that my colleague Paul Trani made. And inside of the layers, what I'm going to do is activate this gradient layer, for example. And you know how tedious it is to go through the blending modes, right? You have to select the blending mode, click, oh, wrong one, next one, okay? Now, I can simply move my mouse and go through the various blending modes and find the exact one that I need. Is that cool or what? And Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, as much as I want. One more thing. I promise. Where's Rianne? Rianne, she's not even signaling to me that I should be over. That's good. Good sign. Because this is a real time saver in Illustrator. So I created all of these cards and things and writing paper, but I forgot to make symbols. Okay, so if I take one of those symbols and, for example, take this object here, let me just move into here and turn it around, for example, like this, I would have to do that in all of the other instances, right? But now in Illustrator, what I can do, I'm going to move out of isolation mode here. I'm going to go in here in the Properties panel and, oh, more isolation. There we go. I'm going to say, where is it? I lost it. I'm sure somebody here in the first row says, Rufus, how dumb are you? It's right there. I don't know. I lost it. Anyway, come on, to make global edits. Where's my global edit button? I can't see it. Anyway, global edit in Adobe Illustrator allows you to make changes to something. Adobe Sensei will look at all of the other elements and say, oh, this is the same, looks like the same, so if Rufus moves it, I'm going to move it on all of the other ones. And with that, my friend, and a little Adobe Cadabra to that last thing that I wasn't able to show, my forgiveness, I thank you, and you home, keep on tweeting Adobe Creative Meetup and tell us what you like. And you in the room, I don't know, Rianne, where are you? There you are. Oh, all right. You were waving.
Yeah.
I wasn't even seeing you. Okay, Rianne,